Kevin Sidebottom here, speaker, author, and trainer. And I go around and I teach sales organizations and leadership teams how to grow trust and influence with their customers and their team members to drive more revenues and higher profits. Today, let's talk about how we measure success with our sales team. How do we go and measure sales success? Well, most people look at last year's numbers and they look at this year's numbers and say, hey, we got an arbitrary number that we need to increase by. And if you're not meeting that, well, you're not doing very well. Well, unfortunately, especially when we've had a pandemic just recently, we know that if the total market goes down, so too will our sales, right? We need to understand what's going on, what the GDP is of our country and what everything's doing. If we're sitting there and looking at somebody and saying, well, your sales are down compared to last year, and that's the only data point we use, well, guess what's going to happen? We're going to fail. And we're going to fail them, and they're going to not want to succeed, and they're probably going to be looking for another job. So we need to make sure that we're using the right kind of gauges when we go out there to go and measure our sales success. So we need to have a few things. Well, we need to also be out there working with our salespeople and going on some of the calls with them, understanding how they're following our sales process. And now I want to stop you right here. And if you don't have a sales process formulated that everybody can follow so everybody has the common language, well, you're going to fail. You're not going to hit the success you need. You cannot just rely on somebody to have their own sales process. Your organization has to have one that they go through and everybody has the same common language. Because when you interact with a customer, whether it's in your service or warranty or the salesperson, everybody's got to be using that same common language. So make sure you have the right sales process in place that answers the 5 buying decisions that the customers have. And if you get them out of order, the buying decisions, guess what happens? You become a commodity. What do you think happens? You erode profits, right? So we need to make sure we have that in place at the start to make sure we're going to be successful. If we don't, well, good luck. Now, if we want to go out there and measure the salespeople, we need to see how they're working through our sales process with the customer. We need to constantly be engaging them and understanding how they're doing it. And that means going on some sales calls. Because here's the deal. As a sales manager or sales leader, you need to understand how well they're doing with the customers. You need to have those conversations with customers. You need to watch them in action. Because anybody can bluff you when they're sitting at a table, but when they're in a live fire situation, it's very hard to bluff, right? You'll see everything coming out. You'll be able to actually critique them and understand what's going on. We need to make sure that we're watching them and helping them and coaching them. That's the biggest key right there. We need to make sure that we're coaching our sales team, because if we're not coaching them and helping them grow and cultivating them, well, guess what's going to happen? They're going to do a flat line. That's right. They're going to get just at a certain level and they're not going to keep growing. So we need to constantly add value to them and they will grow. And then we can see, like, if we're investing in them and we're doing these ride-alongs and they're just not getting it, well, then you can actually go, okay, I see that they're not going to work out, and then you should fire them. Far too often, most organizations will go off there and in 1 or 2 interviews or watches, they'll just fire someone. And unfortunately, that drives a stake in the heart of your culture, because other people will see what's going on and they will start looking for other jobs. And the more you have to hire in new people, well, guess what's going to happen to your organization? You're going to lose profits. You're going to lose efficiency. You're going to have to onboard new people. You're going to have to get them ingrained in your culture, help them learn how to sell your product and service, and then get them out there. That's a lot of time and a lot of cost. So if we can help them start off on the right foot, we're going to be successful. And again, that starts with the sales process, making sure they align with our culture and guiding them. And then we need to go and look at what's going on in the market. Is our industry up or down? Do we know what's going on? And I've been in down economies and we were growing. I mean, as much as 50 to 75%. That's right. During the big recession, we were growing when everybody else was sitting there going, everything's falling apart. We're growing our industry. So we need to make sure that we have the right gauges out there. And Like I said before, if you have the right process in place, you're going to be successful. So make sure that's rock solid before you start gauging people. All right? If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. If you like this video, hit like, share, subscribe. That's why I do these videos, is to help you. See you next time.